Fast forward any combo or channel so AGH politics Albany. What castle said trendy and make with making headlines. And your gem night be exumbo. Unia a year council of state members no. Bako resigning a year so far a kufu. Now unia assistance now there. Yemfa ubia and share. Now we say in a unia akobase. Torkonoo is likely to be appointed to replace a year Sophia Akufu. Na Mr. say Yamura in Seminim Abra Abujafo attraction na Omon a probe into this matter. Shanaswam say I say AGH politics Albany.
Well, let's just stay with issues of the Constitution because a constitutionally reserved seat on Ghana's Council of State remains empty at a time the country is preparing to amend the Constitution, more than 2 months after government promised a replacement for former Chief Justice Sophia Akufu. President Mahama is yet to name one. Questions are emerging over whether the delay is merely procedural. The Crosby Annan reports.
Justice Sophia Akufu submitted a resignation from the Council of State in September 2025, although the presidency only publicly confirmed its acceptance in June this year. Government said at the time that processes were underway to replace her. But more than 2 months later, no replacement has been announced. Under Article 89 of the Constitution, the Council of State must include a person who has previously served as Chief Justice, appointed by the President in consultation with Parliament. The Council of State Act 2020 Act 1037 also provides that where a vacancy occurs, that vacancy shall be filled. The law, however, sets no specific deadline for the President to make that appointment, and Article 92 makes clear that the work of the Council is not invalid simply because there is a vacancy. So, the Council can legally continue operating. The question is, how long can this constitutionally designated seat remain vacant? At least 3 former Chief Justices currently fit the constitutional description: Georgina Theodora Wood, Kwesi Eniniabwa, and Gertrude Torkonoo. Justice Torkonoo may, however, be considered politically unlikely following her removal as Chief Justice under the Mahama administration. Legally, though, Article 89 does not distinguish between a former Chief Justice who retired from office and one who left under other circumstances. It simply requires someone who has previously held the office. But here is another possibility. The current Chief Justice, Paul Bafo-Boni, turned 70 in December, the mandatory retirement age for a Supreme Court Justice. Once he retires, he too would immediately satisfy the constitutional requirement of having previously served as Chief Justice. Is the President waiting for the current Chief Justice to retire before filling the vacancy? If that is the plan, another legal question emerges: whether keeping the position vacant until December, while other qualified former Chief Justices remain available, would be consistent with Act 1037's requirement that the vacancy shall be filled. From a political standpoint, Bafo-Boni would not be an unlikely choice. President Mahama nominated him as Chief Justice in 2025, and unlike the circumstances surrounding Gertrude Torkonoo's departure, his relationship with the administration has not been marked by the same confrontation. But beyond the personalities, the timing of the vacancy is important. Ghana is entering a major constitutional amendment process. Government released its position on the Constitutional Review Committee's recommendations in July, while Attorney General Dominic Ayine says draft amendment bills are expected by October. Both the entrenched and non-entrenched amendment processes will involve the Council of State. That makes the absence of the former Chief Justice particularly significant. The Constitution deliberately provides for someone who has led the judiciary to sit on the Council, bringing judicial and constitutional experience to the President's advisory body. Yet, the Council could soon be advising on major changes to Ghana's constitution without that seat being occupied. For now, there is no constitutional crisis, and decisions of the Council remain valid. But the accountability question remains. Who will occupy the former Chief Justice's seat on the Council of State, and why has the President waited this long to fill it?
Well, let's go to the Labour front this afternoon, and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission says it is prepared to address concerns raised by pre-tertiary teacher unions over their conditions of service. But the Commission wants the unions to wait for the establishment of an independent public emolument commission, which it says will have the mandate to deal with issues relating to allowances. Here's a report by Daniel Epoku.
In response, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has urged the aggrieved unions to allow for the establishment of an independent public emolument commission, which itself will be better positioned to address their concerns. The Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Dr. Smith Graham, says the proposed independent commission will have the mandate to resolve issues relating to allowances.
So we've engaged them, but they don't seem to understand. They want us to review holistically their way, and they are the only group left. We've negotiated with every union. They are the only group left. So
they are not happy with that decision.
We will engage them again next week, and from there we'll know exactly what will happen.
But the proposal has not gone down well with the teacher unions. For the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, the uncertainty surrounding the proposed commission is also a major concern. Thomas Tanko Musa is the General Secretary of NAT.
Look, are we saying that the laws of Ghana, because the Independent Emolument Commission is coming, so all the laws of Ghana are not working? The Constitution, Article 24(3), that says that workers are unions are created to seek and protect the interests, the economic and social. In all those things are not working again, because a baby called Independent Emolument Commission is going to be born. No.
The president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, Jacob Anaba, says the unions cannot suspend their demands while waiting for a commission whose establishment date is unknown.
As we speak, we are not sure when this Independent Emolument Commission will come into force. So for how long are the teachers going to wait for our continuous professional development allowance to be paid, our digital allowance to be paid, and our deprived area allowance to be paid? These are three critical issues that we have agreed on.
The unions insist they will maintain their September 7 deadline for industrial action unless concrete steps are taken to address their concerns.
And a senior lecturer at the Department of Economics at the University of Ghana, Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie, says issues about so-called gold board losses have been over-politicized. Speaking on the key point, he noted that attention should rather be focused on how to minimize the losses, not the politics of it.
The same with the gold board. I think Sami Jamfi is a very good communicator. You could have called the press, let us know that this and so is what we have done, and this is the cost. And all of us will understand. But the
that
way
is
the whole
before
thing,
the IMF comes out.
Exactly.
That we should have heard from these institutions.
Yes, of course.
That's BOG and
then the gold board.
Before the IMF comes to tell us even
killed all
$1.7
these
billion.
so-called quote-unquote noise around this. Of course, we have over-politicized this loss cost issue. And in fact, the bigger elephant in the room is the program itself, the benefits we are getting. That should be our focus on how to minimize the cost going forward. But we have spent so much time about apportioning blame, who is to bear the cause, is it sitting in the books of gold board, is it sitting in the books of BOG, etc., etc. Let me make this point. On one set, I think I wasted my time trying to explain who should bear the cost and all that. But on this set, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pass one statement. I'll go on with my other submissions. Mm-hmm. It is a Bank of Ghana program. And so everything must sit in the books of Bank of Ghana. Mm. However, if gold board is taking credit for the reserve accumulation, that is why the other argument is that if you are taking credit or you want to be part of the credit taking, then you should be blamed for the losses. So if you look at the audited financial statements of gold board, you don't see these things, these figures that you are mentioning, but you see them in the BOG audited financial statements. So that should have settled the matter.
Member of Parliament for Akwetia, Bernard Bedi-Akunbedu, says the majority in Parliament has never opposed any attempt for parliamentary scrutiny of the operations of Ghana Gold Board or Gold Board. He told Key Point that NDC MPs welcome transparency in government operations and, by extension, the works of the Gold Board.
When these discussions were out there, people were denigrating individuals and all that. There was no mention of Gold Board, this Bank of Ghana. They said Gold Board. In fact, they simplified it. Say Gold Board, Akoton Gold, Aboka. You heard them. Gold is here, Tomboka. These were the things that were peddled out there. So we had to find out, what was it? I was in the chamber. In fact, when these matters came up, we were a bit surprised and we wanted to know what actually the basis was. But you see, let it also be put on record that at no point did the majority resist any move for the Gold Board to be held accountable or to be brought to Parliament to answer any question. It didn't happen.
You didn't resist it?
No, we didn't. We resisted the vehicle. Check their hands out. We resisted the vehicle.
And at the time, what vehicle were they in?
Yes, they said there should be a bipartisan, whatever, a 9-member. That was the content of the motion. That there should be a 9-member committee made up of NDC and MPP go and sit. And then we said, no. If there has been any financial, whatever, as you claim, surely it should be in the books of that entity. And the books will surely go through an audit by the Auditor General, which Auditor General's report eventually would land at the doorstep of Parliament.
Well, still on key point, economic policy analyst Senya Hosi says the losses associated with the domestic gold purchase program sits with the Bank of Ghana. Speaking on the key point, Senya Hosi noted that it cannot be placed anywhere in the books of Gold Board. He added that the policy is implemented by the central bank and Gold Board is an agent, an operator of that policy.
Problem. And who is responsible for that? It is the central bank. The central bank needs to come and explain to us how come, together with government, that matter keeps lingering. Because if we didn't have that, we won't have a lot of the losses that we have here.
The 1.7 billion.
You won't. Because how would Sami Jefi, you send Sami Jefi with money, that Sami Jefi should go and buy something, and he goes to the place, and the real rate is 12. Because if you decide to buy 11, it means that the people are taking a 10% haircut. They will not give you the gold.
Yes.
They will not give you the gold. And we truly don't have the security capacity for proper enforcement. Galamsey, we have to discuss it today. Look at where we are. How much more dealing with something in somebody's pocket that you can't even see? You understand? So you create an economic incentive by paying him the 12. Now, when you come and collect the 12, because of other policy considerations, you want to keep it and sell it at what? 11. You will naturally make a loss.
So that BAG.
You're also watching Weekend Central on TV3. More after this break. Stay with us.
Grace, over the years, farmers within the Savannah region have been storing their own seed and planting them year on year. And this, according to the Seed Council, is affecting production because these seeds are recycled. And so it's something that not give them the needed yield that they require. So they have been advised to use certified seeds in the market, such that once they plant, the following year they will go get different sets of seed again and go and plant. When that is done, it is going to help production and also ensure food security in the country. But they have also cautioned against people who are in the market and selling uncertified seed to farmers, because they believe that this is undoubtedly affecting the production that these farmers are expected to get. Let's take a listen to the Presidential Advisor on Agri and Agribusiness, Dr. Torkonoo.
GMOs are outlawed in this country, and because sometimes the regulation and the borders become somewhat porous, there are instances where some uncertified seeds, which are GMO, gets onto the market, and everybody becomes a gatekeeper. And the regular communication and engagement and the inspection allows us to identify these seeds and even miscreants who are trading them, and see how we deal with them. Those are things that the government and the National Seed Council is looking at improving, so that the seeds that gets to the farmer are maintained in viability, and their viability is not lost along the way. Last year and this year, government has done something very unique. Government has embarked on a move to even give some of the seeds and fertilizer to the farmers for free. Now, that is where sometimes the timing becomes a challenge because of government, procurement limitations and all that, and sometimes it has become a challenge. But indeed, this year and last year, there has been some significant improvement in the time within which the farmers get this input. It is the vision of His Excellency, the President, to improve the input sector and make sure that the kind of seeds that farmers grow are viable enough to give them higher germination rate, and not only the germination rate, give them.
Christopher, this should be good news for the farmers. Talk to us what their reaction has been regarding this initiative.
Yes, so Grace, you know that agriculture in the northern parts of the country entirely deals with timing. Timing is very, very important, and the availability of these seeds. And so, we have one rainy season. So when the farming season comes and they do not get these seeds on time, it means that the whole year they will not have anything to do. And so the farmers are also appealing to the National Seed Council to ensure that these certified seeds that they want them to use are always readily available, so that when they get to the market, they are able to get and come and plant on time, so that they will also be able to get a good harvest at the end of the day.
Right, Christopher, thank you for bringing us those updates. Christopher Mwako, my colleague, updating us on that new seed initiative by the government. To other stories now, many primary health facilities in Ghana lack basic optometric tools like trial frames, auto-refractors, or adequate training resources, would delay proper community-led case finding. A collaboration between the Northern Regional Directorates of the Ghana Health Service and the International Development Enterprises, IDE, Ghana, is beginning to change the narrative in Northern Region. My colleague Christopher Mwako has more in this report.
Refractive errors such as myopia, hyperopia, and astigmatism are among the leading causes of moderate to severe visual impairment in Ghana. Uncorrected refractive errors accounts for roughly 44.4% of all cases of visual impairment, despite being entirely correctable with prescription.
We and some hold with him cause or channel so my men was said, what you bread. As I saw bad in there, don't be